Ah, time to play some games on my recently modded 3DS. I'm thinking Game Boy Advance. Now that I mention it, it would be more fun to do it on original hardware. Right. Let's view my Game Boy collection. Just gonna put this here next to the subject for another video. Alright. Game Boy Pocket, and what's this? Game Boy Color. The screen looks a little different. Probably nothing too special. I'll just play this instead. Holy crap. This is in color. I need to review this. The Game Boy Color, every 28-year-old man's favorite Game Boy console. Released in 1998, it was not meant to be a successor to the Game Boy. However, to reinstate the fact that it exists, much like the Game Boy Pocket. However, it did introduce some new technologies, such as an active matrix display, which made color possible. It has no backlight. I mean, sure, the Game Boy Pocket didn't have a backlight, and I was fine with that, but that's because this was released in 1996. You may be wondering. Poor excuse. The Sega Game Gear came out in 1990, and that had a backlit screen. Well, this came out in 1998, and a few months earlier, Nintendo released a Japan-exclusive Game Boy Pocket with a backlit screen. Why couldn't they implement it in this? Well, the color screen was expensive enough. They wanted this to have a lower price mark, so that parents will see that and be like, "Little Timmy's been biting my leg off for a Game Boy, so I'll get him this." Whereas if they had installed a backlit screen, it would have upped the cost and make that parent say, "He can keep biting my leg." I mean, we've all been pampered with backlit displays, but that shouldn't matter. These were supposed to be really good handheld consoles for a discount price. Unlike Sega's Game Gear, which took 6 AA's and only lasted 2 to 3 hours on a single mount. This thing took 2 AA's and lasted about, I don't know, maybe 4 times that amount. It was great. So for gameplay review, we're going to use our typical candidates for games. On the left, we have Tetris. I know it's unmarked, the label fell off. And on the right, we have really gross looking Super Mario Land. Get it away. Well, that went further than I wanted it to. Hope it's okay. Okay, so inserting the game is very similar to the Game Boy Pocket and the DMG and the Game Boy Advance. You just take the cartridge and you shove it in the hole. Then you turn it on. I need the volume. Oh look, it's buzzing. Oh yeah, it works. Really quiet. It's actually quieter than the Game Boy Pocket, but that's probably because it was aimed at younger audiences. Because the Game Boy Pocket looks like all business, whereas this one looks like a toy. Something I really admire about this thing is how when you're loading up an original Game Boy game, you can change the color palette, which is pretty cool. It gives you a new way of playing. Like saying, I'm not just black and white, I don't come with one preset, however I come with many. I don't know how many exactly, but, you know, it just comes with more than one. So anyway, let's play this. So just hit start. Alright, so we have 8. So one thing I noticed immediately is that the buttons are a little stiffer than the Game Boy Pocket buttons, which I'm perfectly fine with because they felt a little too weak. Something I also noticed is that the Game Boy Pocket D-pad felt like really glossy, whereas this one just feels like, here, I got some grip. Which is really ideal because the old D-pad felt like my fingers were like really oily, and no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't clean it off, which was kind of really gross. So I mean, yeah, everything plays alright. The color is actually pretty cool. When I had my Game Boy Advance, whenever I would play my Game Boy Pocket after, my mind actually thought there was color on the screen. It was crazy, because I was so used to the Advance. There's one last feature I forgot to mention. Boom, infrared. Don't ask me why it has this. Don't ask me. I don't know what it was used for. Hey, it uses a similar, link cable port as the Game Boy Pocket, which means you could play multiplayer on a color in a pocket without the need of an adapter. That's cool. I can dig it. Don't know, the buttons feel fine, Tetris seems to run at the same speed. The reason I say that is because with this one, they use a faster CPU, most likely for color data. Alright, time to remove the cartridge and put it down. Oh, by the way, it's fine. Now I need to grab Super Mario Land. Magic! Just put it in the hole. Turn it over. Bam, it's looking sexy. Alright, now I need to turn on the console. I'm just gonna use the default palette this time. Hey, look, it booted up. I hope you can see that. I would put some light on it, but that would give it some glare. I wonder if I tried turning up the light exposure. No, I can't on this one. This seems to run as crappy as it usually does, but that's probably because of the newer physics for the Game Boy, like slower rising, faster falling. Alright, well, I really like that. I don't really know the point of playing the same games I've reviewed before, because it's going to play the same way every time. I guess I just did that to experience the color flying at my face. Now, I want to see how it holds up to consoles of the past and consoles of the future. However, I can only do near future. Near future. So, the least I could do is my PlayStation. Because as you saw, I have a Wii, but my sensor bar, I doubt it works. Because the wire was in 2 pieces and I tried to reattach it. I don't have a power cable yet, and I don't have a video cable yet. But tomorrow I'm getting all that stuff, including a new sensor bar. I do actually have a Wiimote. I accidentally turned it on. Stop flashing. We'll see how it holds up. Oh, and by the way, I'm actually changing my mind to do handhelds for a much more fair competition. I hope that's understandable. So the oldest handheld I own is the Game Boy Pocket from 1996. However, it is running on hardware from 1989. So let's see how that looks. The reason it's louder is because I had to change the speaker. Alright. So the music sounds primitive. The game looks primitive also. So, you know, it's kind of like a basic game. No color, no nothing. It's just like Kirby's Adventure on the NES, except you can't run, you can't get copy abilities, and it's only 5 levels long. Kind of basic. The Game Boy Color is capable of similar things, but they can also have bigger games, such as the Pokemon games. I mean, I get that the original Game Boy can play those too, but slowdowns will be more common, and, you know, color data can boost the size of the game a little bit. Well, this thing has 4-bit color, meaning like it can only display 4 colors at once, which is like 4 shades of gray. This one can do over, like, I want to say over 10,000 at once. It's pretty amazing. Yeah. Now, we're actually gonna compare this to a 3DS. Okay, so by no means is the 3DS a powerhouse. It's actually relatively weak. Super Mario Maker isn't really that demanding of a game, but I'm gonna do like a default title like Me Maker. I'm actually gonna do something soon, or I transfer a Me over to my Wii. Right, so I need to edit my Me character of myself anyway, because it's a kind of old. I'm gonna change my mouth. So you see, it's like a full 3D model, you know. This is 2011. This is the future. This is the future. Okay, so not that tall, and I'm a little chunkier. Okay, so this is what this thing is capable of. It's actually capable of, you know, quite a bit. I made myself a girl in Me Maker. Don't ask why. It was for Tomodachi life. So obviously, the winner of capability has to be 3DS. The winner of console design and the way the buttons feel is gonna have to be the Game Boy Color. Because yes, while the physical plastic of the buttons feel the same, the mechanism is very different between this and the Game Boy Color. So basically, the buttons on this are very clicky. I don't like clicky buttons. Whereas this one, it uses carbon contacts, which means it's kind of rubbery and squishy, yet still kind of nice. Plus, if you really want to click, just press down on the pivot. It's not flush. It's not always on the motherboard. It's kind of just floating. Which is fine, because you can do that click. You know, for comfortability, I'm gonna have to say the Game Boy Color. The curves on both sides and the curves on the back. You know, it's nice, big, but makes it very, very comfortable to hold if you have the battery cover. Plus, as an advancement over the Game Boy Pocket, which is the IR sensor, in fact, you can even use this thing as a TV remote if you have a certain game. It's very, very impressive for the time. Plus, it looks sexy. Now, for better console, I'm going to have to say my 3DS, because yes, you can get a flash cart in there and play a lot of games. You're only restricted to Game Boy Color and Game Boy Pocket games, which, don't get me wrong, they have a lot of fun games, but a lot of them are kind of primitive. Here's the 3DS. You can actually modify it to run homebrew, which I have done, and you can play Game Boy titles, Game Boy Color titles, Game Boy Advance, Super Nintendo, PlayStation 1. This thing can do a lot more. I'm not saying it's the best console ever, but it wins in the game library. Because, it has its own library of 3DS games, which is cool. It has new Nintendo 3DS games, which is cool. You have original DS games, which is a really huge library. And then you can modify it to run homebrew, which allows for more games. This can play Game Boy Color, Special Black cartridges, Special Black, and Game Boy games. Special Black meaning like you can play on both original hardware and color hardware, and they'll be in full color. So no preset color palettes. So it has a pretty good library, but that just kind of wins with the game library, the 3DS. But this does actually remain one of my favorite Game Boy consoles, next to the DMG. That's my second favorite. The Pocket is my third favorite. The Advance is my fourth. The Advance is cool to have, but it is really, really easy to emulate. So it's like you can just get an emulator and play advanced games on it. But then again, playing on original hardware is just so much better. So guys, I hope you enjoyed that review video. I apologize if it was a little boring. It was my first time doing a review video in quite a while, and it was my first time trying to be a little more exciting and not like clacking away at the buttons the whole time because I like the way they feel. I really hope that this was an entertaining experience for you. I tried to put a little humor in it. As you could probably tell, a big inspiration of mine is Scott the Woz for humor terms, with satire and sarcasm and stuff. So, if it's a little like his, I'm not trying to be a copycat. I just have a similar sense of humor that I don't really unleash a lot. But if you did enjoy the video, please hit the like button. If you didn't like it, then, please don't lie to me by hitting the like button. If anything, don't press any buttons, but if you absolutely hated it, then just hit the dislike button. And if you want to see more content such as this, I do make other kinds of videos. And I would consider hitting that subscribe button, the big, red, beautiful rectangular triangle button. And then click that little bell icon so you know about every single upload a few minutes after it's up. Or right as it's up. Who knows how reliable your device is with notifications. But with that all out of the way, I will have to go, and I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.